Wolf Capital DeFi investors. Unfortunately, again, the thumbnail and the title of this video are absolutely not clickbait. So without further ado, we're going to jump into exactly what happened, how you can pick out these warning signs in the future, what they said on the AMA. We're going to break that down, what 0x Aura has been saying to me in DMs, and what is probably going to happen in the future. So let's talk about it. 3,000 investors without their money, to the tune of about $7 million that was staked, okay? $7 million, poof, gone, right? No one is getting any money back because they say, or at least Travis says, there is no money to give back, okay? So they've tanked that portfolio from $7 million down to $7,000. And I encourage you to go watch the videos that I posted, lots of videos on Wolf Capital when I was talking about this since June 17th, which coincidentally, we're going to talk about how that lines up real here. Just give me a minute and I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. Now, what does all of this mean? Okay. First and foremost, it's looking a lot like fraud, right? We're not going to say that it's fraud because that is for a legal authority to determine. Okay. But here's what it looks like. Lying about trades to keep the Ponzi and going and the deposits coming in, and to keep the settlers from getting too restless, right? This was one thing that I pointed out in a lot of my videos. Hey, we're going to do a casino. We're going to do our own coin. We're going to do our own blockchain. We're going to, issue out these guaranteed rewards. We're going to do all these giveaways. We're going to do copy trading. We've got NFTs now. This is classic Roman mentality when the settlers got restless, right? The populace. And they started going after the king, the emperor, right? The emperor of Rome. What did they do? Gladiator games. So it's all seeming like it was a very well orchestrated ruse from the beginning to make sure that people didn't know what was actually going on in the background. And, obviously Travis was very successful in those ruses because he kept all of this from everybody for a very long time. Lying about the profits. We know that. He literally just admitted to that on stream. And I recorded that stream too. So none of this that I'm saying is speculation. And if it is speculation, I will tell you this is my opinion or that it is speculation. But I'm just saying exactly and reporting exactly what they said. Lying about the funds access, right? Okay. So is he lying about the funds access, that he's the only person that had access to that? Because, if you remember a few months ago, they were saying that they had a multi-sig or that they were going to have a multi-sig. So what happened to that, and why doesn't 0x have access to the funds, or at the very least have API access to see what's going on inside of those exchanges when there's millions of dollars on the line and his reputation? And then, of course, there's the lying about the business model, right? Were there trades actually happening? Lying about the business model kind of alludes to the trade profits that he was fabricating and forging, the documents and all of the screenshots that they were posting from BitGet. So it's looking a lot like those documents were being forged, right? To essentially commit what I would believe to be fraud. That's, again, for a legal authority to decide. But this is exactly what I was saying about the BitGet screenshots all along, okay? And I was trying to say, hey, those can be easily edited. And he even admitted that he edited them in the AMA. And again, this is all recorded, and I have the recording on my computer. Now, they definitely were running an unregistered and unregulated hedge fund. Also illegal to do, right? Under federal laws and statutes and the SEC, right? And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, hedge funds aren't necessarily governed by the SEC. I have a rebuttal for that. So this was absolutely set up like a fund, as a fund. That's why you deposited, and it was supposed to be secure and safe, your deposit, that is, right? So you deposited your money and you didn't say, hey, Wolf Capital, this money is now your property. I'm giving you this money. You give me a return later, right? Hedge funds are loosely regulated investment vehicles. This is coming directly from, websites that matter, government websites. Since they mostly cater to accredited or high net worth investors. Does that sound like the people in Wolf Capital? Definitely not accredited or high net worth investors that are investing $1,000, $2,000, right? Fund managers may need to acquire additional FINRA licensing depending on the size of the fund and type of assets invested in. Well, my guess is that Trav and no one on the team has any licensing And that was one of the main things that I was telling people in the very beginning is this is an unregistered and unregulated hedge fund and that he's not an actual asset manager and he has no ability to do that. Now, hedge funds are unregistered sometimes because of one of two exemptions in the Investment Company Act of 1940, okay? Hedge funds need not register with the SEC if they have fewer than 100 investors and all investors are considered accredited investors. First off, you have 3,000 investors almost. Not everyone's accredited. We know that for a fact. Actually, we can't say that we know that for a fact because everybody's anonymous, but we're going to assume that most likely every single person that invested with you is not accredited, but also we're going to assume that you have more than 100 investors because we know that from the website and from the wallets. So does this sound like any other investments that you're in, any other projects or protocols? If it does, it might be the time to get out of them. And this is not financial advice, but I'm saying if it can happen over here, it can happen everywhere, okay? This will all come crashing down soon enough. Unregistered securities trading by Travis at Wolf Capital, okay? Because we know that a lot of cryptos are now becoming registered as securities. Now, was he trading in any actual securities? We don't know. But he was definitely trading in financial instruments. Now, you are allowed to buy and sell stocks for yourself without being licensed. And you can even buy and sell stocks for up to 5 other individuals, as long as you are not marketing yourself as an investment advisor and or soliciting business as such. That's exactly what Wolf Capital was doing, actually. They said, give us your money, we're going to trade, right? And it's a lot more than 5 other individuals. There's almost 3,000 community members. A Ponzi scheme. Go look it up. It is a crime. They again admittedly told everyone that they were running a Ponzi scheme. Okay. They called the gap that is now, the gap is 100% essentially. They called that the Ponzi gap for the umpteenth time until I called them out so many times that they stopped calling it that. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, well, everybody knew. Okay. Admitting that it is a Ponzi does not make it legal, okay? Everyone knew that dogfighting was illegal, okay? They still participated. But if they knew and Michael Vick told them that dogfighting was illegal, then why did Mike Vick still go to prison for a really long time for dogfighting? Because it's still illegal. So even though maybe you, like the person that's watching this video that invested in Wolf Capital, yeah, maybe you're not committing a crime. But the people who are running it are very easily, inferably, potentially committing a crime. So guaranteeing profits is illegal in the United States. They did that to the tune of 2%, 1.5%, 0.8%, 1.1%. They did that for months, okay? The whole team is literally on the hook for this. So I can't stress this enough. The Ponzi, the unregistered fund, all of it, right? If you were compensated, maybe not for stealing the money, right? If the money was ever stolen, we don't know that for a fact yet. But if you were compensated for being a part of the team, you are most likely liable by the laws of the United States, depending on your involvement level, right? Very easily inferable that you could be liable. Project leads, founders, promoters, community managers, all of these people could very potentially be liable. 0x and Trav are 100% for sure liable. And they're the ones that openly admitted that they were running a Ponzi scheme, like on the internet, in recordings, on AMAs, on video, in text. And we have all of that on my channel, right? We have all of those recordings. We have all that text. It's there. And their sales team could also be liable as well because it's going to be hard for them to prove that they didn't know that this was a Ponzi scheme. Now, Anani Docs is now involved, okay? I told them about this back on June 28th. Jonah from Anani Docs, the CEO, who's now changed his name in Telegram to something else because his company apparently merged with some other company. I told them about this on June 28th. They did nothing. But kudos to him, though, because he finally did do something and he did say something. And now he actually finally came back to me and told me, and I quote, well, ... now we can report it. Credit where it's due. You called it quick. And I said, yeah, man, unfortunately, it's unfortunate for the investors. That's the issue. It's not about giving credit where credit is due. I was pretty, explicit in the fact that I thought that I was right and that everything that I was saying was spot on. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that $7 million of people's money is now just gone. So giving me credit does nothing. Getting those people their funds back is what the true right thing to do and the just thing to do is. Now, the elephant in the room, this time a month ago, well, it was about a month ago whenever he shared this, and did this on Telegram in a voice chat, and it showed that the account had $5 million in it. Now, a lot of people think it's fake. I don't think that was fake, to be honest with you. I think that'd be kind of hard to fake live, right? But Trav better hope it was, because if not, then his entire story that he just told that we're about to talk about right now is a lie. And he took all the money, or he lost it all in trades in literally 1 month. So there's two scenarios. If that $5 million was actually there during that screen share, he either lost it all in a month, or he misplaced it somewhere, potentially in his own pockets. So, that is to be determined. We'll see how that plays out. But that screenshot in July, that screen share was in July, and he said that he lost all of the money in June, starting June 14th. Okay. And if he took the money, you can best believe that he's just stringing you along so that he can pull all of this, pull out all of the, get out of Dodge, essentially. My guess is that the class actions have already probably been put in motion and filed, because there's a lot of people that are hurting because of this. Now, we are about to break down the entire AMA, but I want to say this first, because this AMA, I listened to the whole thing, and I'm going to tell you what 0x told me in the DMs and stuff like that. But this is literally why the SEC exists. All right. This is literally why laws exist. Okay. This is why licenses exist. This is exactly why restrictions are put in place for non-accredited investors, right? So that people that aren't accredited investors and can't afford that don't put their life savings into things like this. There's a reason why the FTC has rules and standards for people promoting things and projects. Go look at my AMAs. I literally have a disclaimer at the very beginning of all of my AMAs that says, in order to comply with the FTC laws, did any of these people that promoted Wolf Capital to you, did they even tell you that it was paid promotion? And if they did they tell you that they were that this was high risk and that you need to do your own research, right? Before blindly shilling this to you, because at the end of the day, they were paid very handsomely in their referral fees. So just think about that. This is why this stuff matters. This is why PreSend and wolferfinance are literally going through regulation right now. That's fiduciary intent for investors. That's my point. So there's a reason all these laws, regulations, licenses, and all these different things are put in place. We're actually doing and running towards that for our people so they can feel safe and secure. And if you want to know more about that, go to the wolferfinance website, go to the PreSend website, read about what an SEC regulated crowdfunding offering is, what that does for you, the digital security token that comes along with it, the rights that you have as an equity owner in a company or a shareholder or a profit share. Go read about that, because what you signed up for here was the Wild West. There was no contract with these guys. But that's why the SEC is the SEC and why it matters. And that's why PreSend and Wolfer are doing it. And we're opening up our CFs in the coming weeks. So if you want to actually put your money somewhere where it matters, where people aren't going to do this type of stuff with it, where they're actually going to do the exact business model that they stated they were going to do, because they've been doing it and proving that over time, I would suggest you bring your money over to wolferfinance, and I would definitely suggest you bring your money over to presend.io. Let's break down the AMA. I recorded it, by the way. Then I'll break down my DM conversation with 0x, who's obviously way too scared to have a live chat with me now for good reason. And that's another reason they're not releasing those previous two AMAs, implicating them in crimes, because they basically implicated themselves in potential crimes and making them look terrible in front of their own community. So if anyone has a recording of either of those two AMAs, the one where Travis came on the first time and admitted it, or the one where I was talking to OX, send it to info@drewwolfer.com, and I'll keep it safe and until, potentially the authorities need to use it, right? So this is what Travis said. The week of the 14th suffered some heavy losses. This is June 14th. Weird enough, that is the same exact week that I started calling them out in my very first video. Go back, check my channel. June 17th was my very first video on it. So surely they'll probably blame this on me later. Then he said he has personal stuff going on in his life and he has mental health issues. Look, I'm not going to sit here and discount mental health. I won't do that, okay? But what I will say is that that's a very, and I'm not saying that he's doing this. What I'm saying is this is a possibility, you know? That's a very easy cop-out a lot of times for people to say, oh, I've got stuff going on in my life. Man, everybody has stuff going on in their life. Namely, the 3,000 people that lost all of their money in this project, right? That you don't see saying stuff like that and gaslighting people, and they're just trying to figure out how they can get their money back. So we all have things going on. We all have struggles, right? That's not necessarily an excuse to go out and lose $5-7 million of people's money. And in my opinion, that is textbook gaslighting and manipulation. Again, I'm not discounting mental health if it is real. Okay. And if it is not used in a manner to manipulate or gaslight people, if your mental isn't on, I get it. Get it right, man. Get it right. Because that's all you have. Right. But this is a trend, right? This is the same stuff that 0x was doing last week by playing the victim. It seems like an elaborate setup. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not going to beat that too far into the ground because I'm not trying to be insensitive about it. I'm just playing devil's advocate and saying this could potentially be another angle that you could look at it from. Then he said he didn't reach out to anyone about his mental health. And then he became essentially a mental health advocate, telling people if they needed help to get it. No one is coming to you for advice, rightfully so. So tell them what they actually want to hear. Where's the money? What happened to the money? Show them the proof of it. Okay. They don't care if you're a mental health advocate because you have bad mental health right now. That's unfortunate that I have to say it like that. And I don't say it like that to be calloused, but let's address the real elephant in the room. Not your mental health, but the $7 million that's missing. Basically playing the feel bad for me game and the please don't do anything to me card, right? That's how I saw that. Manipulative, right? Then he said he's sorry. He took the heat and said that it was 100% on him and nobody else. This is my opinion. I don't necessarily believe that at all. It seems like whoever it is, 0x, whoever, it seems like they have something on him and that he is having to take the fall now, okay? And that makes a lot of sense why 0x isn't doxxed, but Trav is doxxed because he's like the public fall man, right? Everyone basically heated all over him. His own mods, the eSwiftG girl that runs the chat, 0x came on and was like, dude, they were just going at this guy. And he didn't say anything about it. He didn't have any rebuttals. He just stayed quiet. Now, Trav paints himself out to be like this alpha male, right? This proud Texan, right? This good old boy, okay? Do you think that that's the move that he would have made if he was that, right? Let's assume that he was. No, that's the move of a man with no choice that has a lot to lose and a man that has something being levered over him. In my opinion. Now, again, I'm reading further into it because I'm breaking this down from a psychological level, like I always do. He admitted that he wasn't upfront about the losses. Okay, thanks for taking the heat on that. But until you prove that and you show the access to the logs, and I mean like real access, like API access to all of the trading accounts, no one believes you. And if he's willing to lie about all of this stuff, all of your money, all of the trades, what's to say that he wouldn't lie about his mental health and stuff like that? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not mentally ill, that he doesn't have things going on. What I'm saying is that everybody has things going on. You can't blame it on that, okay? When you did this actively, knowingly, right? He ran the same strategy the whole way, but it's becoming pretty obvious that the trades were, for the most part, faked, or if they were ever even real, I would want to know that. I would want to see that with the APIs. So essentially what this comes down to, the portfolio is gone. He's got less than this. This is $10,000 in fake prop money, right? He's got ugats for you guys, which in Italian means nothing. He has nothing. He has $3,000 to $7,000 speculation, right? In that portfolio, okay? Out of $7 million, out of $5 million guaranteed whenever he was showing that screen share, if it was, whatever. He's stepping down now. There's going to be a new team, right? So OX is now assuming the role of team lead, right? There's going to be a new trader who you don't know. There's going to be prop accounts where they're going to bring in prop account money. He says he's putting up his assets to get a line of credit to give everyone their money back. If he's stepping down, he's not a part of the team. What makes him put up his assets and go out and get that line of credit? Start thinking about these things intrinsically. Like, seriously, why would he do that if he's not part of the team anymore? If he's wiping his hands of this business, why would he still be roped up in it? And what self-respecting bank in America is going to give this guy a loan for like $5 million? No one. Not a line of credit, none of that. And those prop accounts, again, they're not going to give you $5 million to go trade with, okay? And there's tax implications for that we'll get into in just a second. Then he says he's putting up all of his assets. Okay, what assets do you have? That $300,000 house in Glenpool, Oklahoma? Your truck or your Tesla or whatever it is? You're not going to have enough money, is my point. He's not, my guess is he is not going to get any lines of credit, and he's wiping his hands of this, right? The casino is still being developed, like they said. Not that it matters, because now that it's tied to this, it will never go anywhere. Then he went ahead and made sure that you can trust the rest of the team by telling them how trustworthy they are. Says he will upload the trade logs as well. I mean, I have no money in this, but the community doesn't want you to upload the trade logs. They want API access. That's the only way it can actually be verified. Then he tries to stand up for 0x again, because I think that he probably has something on him, leveraging him to do that. Made up some total BS about the AVAX trades, and then basically ran that back in this, said, oh, I lost all the money in AVAX trades. And then now he's saying, no, I didn't do that. He was saying, this is crazy, man. I've never seen anything like this. Then he tried to make everyone feel bad again by saying that he is stepping down. He's not answering questions, and that he has a bunch of mental health stuff going on, etc. We'll just leave that alone. You read into that for what it actually is, okay? Then he promises revenue will come in from another trade firm or trader and prop firm money. Again, another trader, mass trader that you don't know, and prop firm money that isn't going to clear, right? And hasn't cleared, right? This is probably not going to happen. And the reason why, okay, so prop firms, you have to pass a test. Then you have to scale up, okay? Then they put like a 5% stop loss on you. So 5 to 10%. So if your trade goes into the negative, they automatically close it out. If your account goes down below like 10% of what it was initially funded with, and most of the time it's 5%, they immediately close out all of your positions and they cancel your account. So tell me how you're going to, and these prop firm, you have to take a test, and pass the test takes usually like a month. So you're going to get essentially like 10 prop firms to give you $500,000 or 5 to give you $1 million. And then whoever's trading that, it can't be Wolf Capital. Whoever signed up for those accounts has to be the one trading it. And if they find out that you're not, they're going to take back all that money, and they're probably going to try to claw back all of the profits. And then they're going to hit you with a tax bill. So then if you're trading that money and you make money on it, you have to pull that out personally. Say I'm the prop firm trader. I have to pull that out personally and take the tax hit on that. So then they're already getting smacked with 40 to 50% short-term capital gains taxes. So say you make $100,000, you're going to come out with 50 to 60K. Then you have to bring it over to the business. The business has to pay taxes on it, right? And then they can pay it out to you. So no, the prop firm strategy is not going to work. Their legal team is literally, obviously, their accounting team is a porta potty, okay? And their claim to be getting like audited financials is absolutely diabolical, because they definitely didn't do that, and they're not doing that. So let's move on to what 0x said now, because now that Travis came in and saved the day and told everybody how he's the one that can be blamed, and 0x didn't do or know anything. Okay, first off, 0x knew he was running a Ponzi scheme. He's the one that did the contract. Okay, he's the one that wrote the contract. And in one of my previous videos, I actually proved from one of their wallets that was bringing in deposits, paid those deposits out to the contract for people to claim. That is a Ponzi scheme. That's new money coming in to pay out the old people that are claiming their profits. That's a Ponzi scheme. That is what 0x coded. He coded that. That's his code. It's verifiable. So I know he's in the Moonarch Telegram group saying that he's going to go after everybody that's, saying stuff about him and stuff like that. Well, man, you better make sure that you have a case, okay? You better make sure that what they're saying isn't true and that it's not verifiable on the blockchain with the code that you wrote, okay? And then the second thing is, guess what happens when you file a lawsuit? You can't do it as 0x Aura with your fake profile picture and your fake name, dude. You got to dox yourself. Everybody's going to know who you are at that point. Go ahead, file a lawsuit. Everybody will know who you are now. You're not going to do that. You wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. It's not going to happen. You have no case. You have no case to file anything against really anybody. So, whatever, man. But here's another thing. 0x starts off by saying that he's open and honest and straightforward from the beginning. Well, what about your identity, man? That's the main thing that people want to see. Oh, okay, so you're open and honest. You're transparent. You're trustworthy, right? But no one knows your name. They've never seen your face. All they've done is heard your voice. They don't even know where you live. We know you live in Bulgaria. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to find him, I'm sure, but Ananidox knows too. So it's okay, you're not that open and transparent. You're not that honest and straightforward, because if you were, you'd be doxxed from day one. That's all I'm saying. Then he states that he has no access to the money. Again, what? If you're a project founder and you don't have access to the funds, or at least be able to see what those funds are doing, right? He should have had API access to this from day one. Before anything even started, he should have API access to this. I have my buddy, John, that's trading, right? And he's trading my money, his money, my buddy's, other buddy's money. Every single one of us has the password to those accounts, all those exchanges that he's trading on, or stock platforms. We all have access to that. We all have access to that. The private keys, the passwords, the email that was signed up, the Google Authenticator, everything. So the fact that he doesn't, and that's with 10 grand, the fact that he doesn't have that with millions of dollars, I don't believe that. And if it is true, then he's grossly negligent and no one should trust him, because he's clearly not thinking into the future, hey, I should have access to this, right? It's like a no-brainer. Then he places all the blame on Trav. Again, probably because he had something on him. I don't know this, but that's what it seems like. Why would Trav take all this blame and then paint this elaborate picture of nobody knew anything? These guys are all trustworthy, all this stuff. He's the only one that's actually doxxed. He is the fall guy. Then OX gaslights people by saying that he put his reputation on the line for Wolf Capital. Your anonymous reputation, all you have to do is change your profile picture, delete your socials, make new socials, come up with a new fake name. 0x Anani, right? Whatever, dude. You didn't actually risk your reputation because nobody knows who you are. And then he says his only mistake was trusting Trav. Okay. What about running a Ponzi scheme and admitting that and then coding up the Ponzi? What about not keeping track of your own project's funds? Is that not a mistake? What about placing the blame on the community and the founder and taking no responsibility for yourself for running this project as a co-founder? That's not a mistake. Your only mistake is trusting Trav? Come on, man. He did ask for the APIs on the trading accounts. I do agree with this. So I will give him his flowers on that. That was the right thing to ask for. But you should have already had those. That's the qualm, right? You should have already had all that access. Then he thanks Trav for doing the right thing and telling everybody that he had no access to the funds. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't matter. I honestly don't think that he didn't ever know what was going on, but I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to prove that unless Travis whistleblows on him, which, if you guys bring suit against him, he probably will to save his own, hide, right? Then the moderator, E Swift, continues to gaslight everyone, acting like no one knew, right? Then throws Trav under the bus yet again, just like everybody is, and tells everyone to be nice because of his mental health and be nice to the mods for their mental health. Dude, this is literally $7 million worth of people's money. When money's involved, emotions come in. It just is what it is. You can't assume that people or ask people to act rationally whenever this is the type of stuff that's happening. That's just my opinion. So don't gaslight people. Your own community that spent $9.5 million with you guys and you're acting like they're the problem. No, they're not the problem. The project is a problem. The business model is a problem. The people that ran it are the problem, not the investors, all of you. Here's my conversation with 0x from yesterday, because he comes to me crying about my previous video. And this is what he says. Because he told me, oh, well, after our AMA, he said, oh, I'm going to get with you. We're going to do an AMA. Yeah, right. You're not going to do an AMA, but okay. Because clearly you would have done it by now. He said, Drew, you're not being fair towards me on your channel. And I said this, well, unfortunately for you, you may be able to gaslight and manipulate all the people in your group because they are basically held hostage and succumbing to Stockholm syndrome right now in order to keep you happy enough in the hopes that you may potentially release their funds in the future. But I am not in your group and I have $0 of mine in your group. So there will be no gaslighting or manipulation over here. And I will 100% look at everything with a level head. Okay. Everyone else can allow you to play the victim, but the only reason that they are doing that, because I understand why people are doing this, and it's not their fault, is because they want to hold on to that hope that somehow this plays out well for them, and you were more than happy to hop on that train and act like you were the knight in shining armor, when in reality, you were taking their money and paying out the old investors with their new investor money this entire time, and that was written into your contract, might I add. I see all of this for what it actually is, and I don't have blinders on like it seems like a lot of people do right now. You may also be able to control the rhetoric in your own community or even in the Telegram chat that was dedicated to bringing a lawsuit against you and Travis, which it now seems that you guys have bought and taken control of, neither here nor there. But you certainly won't be controlling anything that I say or do on my channel, especially when I am speaking the truth and telling it how it is, as I have been from the very first video that I posted on Wolf Capital. It's not personal, but you're also not going to sit there and claim ignorance when you put your name on this project as the co-founder. You don't get to claim ignorance when nefarious acts are going on in the background, especially when you knew from day one that you were running a Ponzi scheme and admitted that, and that is illegal. Nothing separates you from Travis in that regard, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for you and for your investors. Life isn't about fair or not fair. It's about right and wrong. You don't see other people playing the victim. Be a man and own up. Take your responsibility on the chin and admit what you've done and give everyone their money back. This was his reply. This is before the AMA. The truth always prevails, my friend. Then I say, I see that you have no rebuttal. You are absolutely correct, though, but the truth has already prevailed. Literally everything that I just said is the truth, and it's prevailing right now. The only people it's not prevailing for are your investors who have lost all of their money, and it is now locked up. But again, that is exactly why you don't want to talk to me on live about this and why you try to pivot those conversations over to me. Saying stuff about me, my projects, my past, my whatever, right? If we talk so as to take the focus off of you and get it off of the real topic at hand, which is Wolf Capital. It's a good manipulation tactic, but anybody with half a brain picks it out from a mile away. And I obviously have at least half of a brain because I'll call you out on it every time. Then again, another one-word response. That's everything I'm going to say for now. Then he said again, the day I resolve this with Travis is when you will hear more from me. Well, you had already resolved it, but okay. I mean, I don't know why you're telling me anything. This is me talking. You should tell your investors. You have a fiduciary and real liability to them, not me. But I'm almost 90% sure that Travis isn't even going to show up today. They proved me wrong on that. He did. Like you guys are trying to say that he will and address the community and answer their questions. Well, he didn't answer their questions, that's for sure. I see that you guys are enjoying the ability to put it off onto him while he's away. That means that you don't have an answer to any of the tough questions and you don't want to try to take the blame for any of it. It's a good strategy, but it won't actually work in the end. It'll work when you're trying to control the rhetoric, but from a legal perspective or a liability perspective, it does not work at all. And eventually the chickens will come home to roost, and it won't just be about talking to the community anymore because the community will be taking action. Then he said, enjoy this moment while you still can. And I said, dude, that's your problem. And that's exactly what I'm saying. You're worried about the wrong person. I'm not enjoying anything. Your investors aren't enjoying anything. The moment that I will enjoy is when you finally do the right thing to them, because right now that's not what you're doing. So again, you're worried about the wrong person and the wrong person. You're worried about the wrong thing and the wrong person, because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form as I have $0 in your protocol, but it affects the overarching cryptocurrency community as a whole, the almost 3,000 people that are involved in your project. Some of those people are investors of mine as well. So yeah, I care a bit, but the furthest thing from my mind is enjoying this moment. That's delusional. The fact that you're more worried and concerned with controlling or paying attention to what I'm doing and saying is an issue in and of itself. Unless you want to use my outlet as a medium to communicate your position and refute or rebut me, then why are you worried about whether I am treating you fairly on my channel instead of worrying about whether you're treating the 3,000 people that are involved in your protocol fairly? But again, it would be hard for you to come on my channel and refute or rebut me when everything that I'm saying is backed up with screenshots, video recordings, voice recordings, messages, mathematics, economic prompt principles, and just overall on point with everything that I have said about you in my past videos. So that's why you instead Telegram message me, 1-sentence answers. I personally could care less whether you come on my channel, but I truly hope that you get the answers for all the people that are affected soon, man. Let us learn a lesson from this, okay? That's my point. Stop putting money into blatant Ponzi's. Stop letting anonymous people run projects and skate away unscathed. $7 million is gone, okay? Nobody's recovering anything, and that just sets crypto and DeFi back ages. Let real companies blaze the trail like Wolfer and PreSend and show people what the actual fiduciary intent in this market looks like. Let us bring regulated offerings to market that protect investors and show everyone else how to do it, since obviously no one knows how to do it, right? There is no playbook, but we're inventing it right now. So pay close attention because we're writing it as we speak. And if you want to join, go over to Wolfer, go over to PreSend. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day, everyone.